The Young and the Restless Spoilers. The rhythmic clatter of the tracks beneath the floorboards was the only constant in the suffocating luxury of the private train car. Outside, the Wisconsin countryside was a blur of gray and white, a bleak reflection of the storm raging inside Phyllis Summer's mind. She wasn't a guest here, she was a leverage point, a chess piece in a game that had spiraled violently out of control. Cane Ashby paced the length of the mahogany-paneled cabin, his movements jagged and manic. This wasn't the smooth, charming con artist Genoa City remembered, nor the Aristotle Dumas persona he had worn like a tailored suit upon his return. This was a man unraveled. The recasting of his life from corporate raider to desperate father had stripped him of his veneer. "You have to sign it over, Phyllis," Cane said, his voice cracking with a raw intensity that made Phyllis flinch, though she held her ground. He slammed a heavy leather folder onto the table between them. "Victor wants Newman Enterprises back. That is the price. You sign the deed, I hand it to him, and he tells me where Lily and the twins are. It's that simple." Phyllis smoothed the fabric of her blouse, her fingers trembling slightly, a weakness she hated. She looked up at him, her green eyes flashing with the defiance that had defined her existence. "Simple? You think giving Victor Newman exactly what he wants is simple? You're delusional, Cane. You hand him back his empire. And you think he's just going to let Lily go? He'll crush us both. He'll take the company, and then he'll bury us for daring to touch it." "I don't care about the company," Cane roared, the sound vibrating off the glass decanters on the sideboard. "I care about my wife. I care about Charlie and Maddie. Victor has them. I know he has them. He's using them to squeeze me, and I am squeezing you. Sign the papers, Red." Phyllis stood up, the motion abrupt. She walked to the window, staring at her own reflection ghosted against the passing landscape. She had fought so hard for this. The AI software, the hostile takeover, the sheer audacity of stealing the crown jewel of Genoa City from under the mustache's nose. It was her masterpiece. It was supposed to be her safety net, her proof that she didn't need a man to be powerful. "If I sign this," Phyllis said, her voice dropping to a whisper, "I admit defeat. I tell the world that Phyllis Summers is just a nuisance. A bug Victor can squash whenever he gets bored. And what happens to me then? He won't stop at the company. He'll come for my freedom. He'll frame me. He'll ruin me. You know how he operates. He is a threat to your freedom whether you sign it or not," Cane countered, stepping closer. The scent of stale coffee and fear hung off him. "But right now, he is a threat to my family's lives. I am not asking you to like it. I am telling you that I will not let my children die because of your pride." Phyllis turned to face him, seeing the wildness in his eyes. She realized then that the Cane she knew was gone. This was a father pushed to the edge of sanity. But in that realization, a darker truth settled over her. Victor Newman was the architect of this hell. He was the one pulling the strings, turning allies into enemies, fathers into kidnappers. As long as Victor drew breath, he would be the ceiling on her ambition and the lock on her cage. She saw the shift in Cane's eyes before he spoke. The desperation cooled into something rigid, something terrifyingly cold. He looked at the folder, then back at her, his breathing slowing. "You're right," Cane said softly. The sudden drop in volume was more menacing than his shouting. "Giving him the company back, it's a temporary fix. He'll never stop coming after us. He'll never let Lily be safe. He'll never let you be free." Phyllis frowned, wary. "Cane, we don't give it back," Cane said, the words tumbling out like jagged stones. "We don't sign anything. We remove the threat." The air in the cabin seemed to vanish. Phyllis stared at him, her heart hammering against her ribs. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying we kill him." The words hung in the silence, heavy and absolute. Phyllis felt a cold flush spread through her veins. She had done terrible things in her life. She had blackmailed, she had lied, she had run people down with cars, she had faked her own death. But this was a line she had danced near but never truly crossed with premeditation like this. "You're insane," she breathed. "You're talking about assassinating Victor Newman." "I'm talking about survival," Cane insisted, his eyes pleading now, seeking a partner in his darkness. "Think about it, Phyllis. As long as he is alive, he owns us. He owns this town. He has Lily. If he's gone, the structure crumbles. We keep the company. I find Lily in the chaos. We both win. Permanently." Phyllis backed away until her hips hit the sideboard. The terrifying logic of it clawed at her. A world without Victor Newman. No more looking over her shoulder. No more condescending speeches in that low, rumbling baritone. No more fear. It was a seductive, intoxicating thought. The hatred she held for that man was a living thing, a cancer that had eaten away at her happiness for decades. He had judged her, belittled her, and turned her children against her time and time again. Her children. The image of Daniel flashed in her mind, sharp and painful. She saw his face as it had been days ago at crimson lights filled with exhaustion and disappointment. "I'm done, Mom," he had said. "You've gone too far." Daniel, who had just started to build a life with Tessa, who wanted peace. If she did this, if she became a murderer, there would be no coming back. Daniel would look at her not with disappointment, but with horror. He would see a monster. And Summer, her Supergirl. Summer was already in Italy, estranged, fighting her own battles. Summer, who had been raised in the shadow of the Newman morality warped as it was, would be destroyed. Phyllis imagined the look on Summer's face when the news broke. Victor Newman dead. Phyllis Summers rested. The disgust, the shame. Summer would have to change her name, would have to hide from the legacy of a mother who chose blood over redemption. "I can't," Phyllis whispered, the fight draining out of her. "My kids, Cane, if I do this, I lose them. Not just for a while. Forever." "You've already lost them," Cane snapped, striking a nerve so raw Phyllis almost cried out. "Daniel cut you off. Summer is gone. They left you because you're weak. Because you let Victor push you around. Show them you're strong. Show them you did what had to be done to protect the future. Is that what you tell yourself?" Phyllis shot back, her voice gaining strength. "That Charlie and Maddie will thank you for murdering their grandfather, because that's who he is to them, Cane. He's their grandfather. He is their captor." Cane slammed his hand against the wall. "He is the reason they are missing." Phyllis looked at the man before her, a mirror of her own worst impulses. She saw the trap closing in. If she said no, Cane might kill her. If she said yes, she killed her soul. She looked down at her hands, imagining them stained with the blood of the patriarch. Could she live with it? Could she wake up every morning in the CEO's office at Newman Enterprises, knowing the chair she sat in was bought with a bullet? The seduction of the idea was still there, pulsing. Freedom. Absolute, untouchable freedom. No Victor to sabotage her. No Victor to turn Nick against her. Just her, on top of the world. But then the quiet voice of her conscience, the one that sounded suspiciously like Daniel, whispered the truth. Freedom cost. If the price was her humanity, was it freedom? Or was it just a different kind of prison? She looked at Cane, seeing the sweat beading on his forehead, the madness trembling in his hands. "You're asking me to trade my soul," Phyllis said, her voice steady now, though her insides were shaking. "You're asking me to become him, because that's what this is, Cane. If we kill him to solve our problems, we aren't beating Victor Newman. We're becoming the very thing we hate." "I don't care about philosophy," Cane hissed, reaching into his jacket. The glint of metal, a gun, or perhaps just a flash of a lighter, caught the overhead light. "I need an answer, Phyllis. Are you with me, or do I have to treat you like an obstacle too?" Phyllis swallowed hard. The train rattled on, carrying them further into the dark. She thought of Summer's smile, rare as it was these days. She thought of Daniel's laugh. She realized that everything she had done, the schemes, the takeovers, the lies, was supposedly for them, to secure a legacy for them. But a legacy of murder was no legacy at all. It was a curse. She took a breath, the air tasting of ozone and imminent violence. She had to navigate this razor's edge. She had to save herself, save Lily, and somehow save the monster that was Victor Newman, not for his sake, but for the sake of the children who shared his blood. "Put the gun away, Cane," Phyllis said, her eyes locking onto his. She channeled every ounce of the red persona, the manipulator, the survivor. "We aren't going to kill him. We're going to do something much worse. We're going to beat him at his own game. But we do it my way. Alive." Cane hesitated, the lethal intent wavering for a fraction of a second. In that silence, Phyllis knew her life, and the future of her family, hung in the balance of his next breath. She stood tall, a mother protecting her young from the other side of the world, refusing to let the darkness win. Not today.